You all remember Michael Avenatti, my dark horse pick for the 2020 presidential election? And he was my dark horse because he was the most militant of the Democrats. He was the guy who kept talking about punching President Trump, and I've got to hit back, and we got to punch twice as hard, and when they go low, then we punch back, and all this kind of stuff. Well, it turns out that there are now allegations that he didn't just punch back against President Trump, he punched back against a woman. Here are the allegations courtesy of KTLA. Michael Avenatti, who skyrocketed to fame as a critic of President Donald Trump and the lawyer for porn actress Stormy Daniels, was arrested on Wednesday and booked on a felony domestic violence charge, according to the LAPD. Now, you'll recall that Michael Avenatti is also the guy who trotted out Julie Swetnick to claim that Brett Kavanaugh had been involved in gang rape, that Brett Kavanaugh, who is now justice on the Supreme Court, had been involved in getting girls drunk or drugged at parties, and then he had involved himself in gang rape trains. And Michael Avenatti pushed all that out there, and Democrats jumped on it because Michael Avenatti is their friend. Michael Avenatti is somebody who says mean things about President Trump, and that's our only standard for good people now. If you say something mean about President Trump, this means inherently you're a good person. Well, in this case, it turns out that Michael Avenatti, the evidence isn't in, right? We don't know. We don't know. Presumption of innocence applies. Michael Avenatti, we don't know whether he's guilty or whether he is innocent in a court of law. But it's kind of ironic that a guy who suggested believe all women is now saying, well, don't believe this one over here with the black eye. The alleged victim in the case had visible injuries, according to Officer Tony Im, a police spokesman. Avenatti slammed the allegation as completely bogus and fabricated and meant to do harm to my reputation in a statement released by his law firm. Avenatti says he's mulling a 2020 presidential run. He posted $50,000 bail and was released about 4 hours after being arrested on the same block where he lives in a skyscraper apartment on Santa Monica Boulevard in Century City. Police didn't provide any details about the alleged victim, including that person's relationship to Avenatti. And here is what Avenatti had to say after being released on $50,000 bail.
I have never struck a woman. I never will strike a woman. I have been an advocate for women's rights my entire career, and I'm going to continue to be an advocate. I am not going to be intimidated from stopping what I am doing.
Believe all women, except that one, who I allegedly hit. Don't believe her. She's a liar. So this is all going very well for Michael Avenatti. Avenatti, by the way, is now, he says he'll be fully exonerated, and he suggested that the woman hit him first, apparently. This was apparently one of the suggestions. Stormy Daniels, who, of course, is the great feminist of our time, has released a statement on the incident saying these are serious and obviously very troubling allegations, but right now that is all they are, allegations. We should all reserve judgment until the investigation, an investigation Michael has said he welcomes, is complete. And that's what I'm going to do. Agree. But kind of weird coming from the same people who said that Brett Kavanaugh should be run out of town on a rail, lose his Supreme Court judgeship, lose his actual life, career, family on the basis of unverified and unverifiable allegations that are now being investigated by the Senate Judiciary Committee for being false, probably, the Julie Swetnick allegations, which are now under full investigation by the Senate. Apparently, this is according to TMZ, the alleged incident occurred Tuesday night, but there was another confrontation on Wednesday between the two at an exclusive apartment building in the Century City area of Los Angeles. Law enforcement sources say Avenatti was arrested Wednesday after a woman filed a felony domestic violence report. The TMZ folks were told her face was swollen and bruised with red marks on both cheeks. Security apparently, here's what TMZ says. We're told Wednesday afternoon the woman was on the sidewalk on her cell phone with sunglasses covering her eyes, sobbing and screaming on the phone. I can't believe you did this to me. I'm going to get a restraining order against you. We're told security brought her inside the building, took her upstairs, and Michael showed up 5 minutes later and ran into the building. He screamed repeatedly, "She hit me first." So that's great. "She hit me first," by the way, is not an actual defense to domestic violence allegations. He apparently then angrily added, "This is BS. This is effing BS." We're told he tried getting into the elevator, but security then denied him access. And then cops showed up and escorted Avenatti into a corner of the apartment lobby and spoke with him for 5 to 10 minutes before taking him into custody. A law enforcement source said on Tuesday that Avenatti kicked this woman out of the apartment, and that's when the alleged domestic violence occurred. And then she went back to the apartment on Wednesday to retrieve her belongings and called police to stand by in case things got heated. So good stuff all the way around. Avenatti, for his part, is now blaming Jacob Wohl. So all of the storylines are colliding. The writers of season 4 of Trump, and I will say this, they really know how to ratchet up the tension and bring back old storylines that we'd forgotten about, like Michael Avenatti and Brett Kavanaugh. Like, we were beyond those storylines. And then the writers were like, you know what? Let's bring that back. Let's bring that back. Like, whoa, good callback, writers. So Jacob Wool, right? That was a story like 3 weeks ago. And we're like, okay, let's see if we can somehow intertwine these strands and really build this thing to an epic conclusion for the second or third episode of season 4 of Trump.